Just because people are famous doesn't mean that they won't experience a supernatural occurrence. And besides, if you were a ghost and you weren't resting in peace, wouldn't you rather haunt a celebrity rather than just some random person? Makes more sense. I'm your host Andrew, and I found the top 10 scary celebrity ghost stories that'll keep you up at night. Let's get right into it. At a number 10 spot, we have Selena Gomez.
Do you believe in ghosts,
Yes,
Danielle?
I have a ghost in my house for sure.
In a 2015 appearance on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, singer and actress Selena Gomez shared her belief in ghosts and revealed that she uses a ghost hunting app on her phone to search for spirits wherever she goes.
And I swear to you, it's a good ghost, which makes me happy.
When asked about the app, which was called Ghost Hunter M2, Gomez explained, quote, "I believe that the spirits can tap into technology. Why not, right?" She then demonstrated the app by running it in the NBC studios, which produced strange wave patterns and inexplicable numbers on the screen. The app even spoke the word children in a gruff, sinister tone, prompting Gomez to say, quote, "I don't have any children, so they must be mad at y'all." Despite Jimmy Fallon's testing, Gomez insisted that the app had actually picked up the names of the people she knew in the past. Ghost Hunter M2 is an app that claims to detect unseen beings and forces by measuring audio signals and magnetic fields. It includes features like a triple axis redundancy filter and a light sensor.
Then the third encounter was my mom. A few months after that, we were sitting in the house and she heard something outside, so she made Brian, of course, go check it.
Poor Brian, man.
He's the man. He's
Yeah,
supposed
apparently, Ghost Hunter Brian.
to. So he goes out and he checks it. And my mom turns around and she sees on the little deck someone walk by in white, and she turns around and she goes, "Why is Brian running?" And she turns around and Brian was right there.
And at the time of Gomez's interview, it only costed $1 on iTunes, so who really knows how legitimate this app is? Gomez's story served as a reminder that technology can sometimes be used in unexpected ways, and there are some people who still believe in the existence of ghosts, especially on these apps. Whether or not you believe in the app's abilities, it's hard to deny the spooky nature of her tale, especially when she said it recalled a bunch of names in her past. Number 9, Kendrick Lamar. Rapper Kendrick Lamar has claimed to have seen the ghost of Tupac Shakur, the legendary West Coast rapper who was killed in a shooting in 1996. Lamar said that when he was 21 years old, he came home from a late night studio session and passed out on his mother's couch. Suddenly, a silhouette appeared and it was literally Tupac. The appearance was timely because Lamar's mother had just told him that Tupac's birthday was approaching and that Lamar's own birthday was the following day. Not only did Lamar see Tupac's likeness, but the ghost spoke to him, encouraging to continue music and not let Tupac's legacy die. Lamar said that the encounter scared him and that it was clear as day, like Tupac was right there in the room with him. Lamar also claimed to have visits from other deceased relatives, but the encounter with Tupac was particularly memorable and inspiring for him. After the ghostly encounter, Lamar wrote High Power, taking Tupac's advice to heart and going on to achieve great success in the music industry. Number 8, Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande is no stranger to the supernatural, as she has a folder on her desktop filled with screenshots of real paranormal activity. So when she and her ghost hunting team found themselves in Kansas City, they decided to visit Stull Cemetery, which is known as one of the 7 gates to hell, and that is rumored to be so haunted that even the Pope won't fly over it. As they approached the cemetery, Grande reported feeling a sick, overwhelming feeling of negativity, and the car began to smell of sulfur, a sign of the presence of demons. The group also noticed a fly in the car, another sign of demonic activity, although this just seems like a pretty normal thing. Despite being scared, Grande rolled down the window and spoke to the spirit supposedly, in which she apologized for disrupting their peace before taking a photo. I don't know what's more disrespectful. However, when she tried to send the picture to the manager the next day, it was blocked, and guess what the reason was? It was because the file size was 666 megabytes. Number 7, Jessica Alba. At 17 years old, Jessica Alba had a truly unsettling experience that left her convinced that her family home was haunted. It was the middle of the night when she suddenly woke up, feeling an intense pressure on her body and an inability to move or speak. She said, quote, "I had no idea what it was. I felt this pressure and I couldn't get up, I couldn't scream, I couldn't talk, I couldn't do anything." She described the sensation as if something was literally lifting the covers off of her and preventing her from getting off the bed. Eventually, she was able to break free and scream for her parents, who rushed to her side immediately. From that moment on, Alba refused to spend another night in the house. While Alba isn't sure what caused the frightening incident, she and her parents took steps to try and rid the home of any ghostly presence. They got the house blessed and even burned sage in an attempt to cleanse it of any negative energy. Despite these efforts, Alba admits that she still doesn't know what exactly happened that night, and she really can't explain it. She said, quote, "There was definitely something in my parents' old house. I don't know what it was, but they got it blessed, and they burned sage and stuff since then. Number 6, Dorinda Medley. Dorinda Medley, star of Real Housewives of New York City, has long been open about her belief that her home in Berkshire County, Massachusetts is haunted by the spirit of her late husband, Richard Medley, as well as other departed souls. In an interview with People, she referred to these spirits as her guardian angels and shared the story of feeling their presence in the house, called Bluestone Manor. One particularly memorable incident occurred shortly after Richard's death, when a red balloon floated up to Dorinda's bed and remained in one spot for an extended period of time. Kinda sounding like Pennywise. Believing it to be her husband's way of communicating with her on the other side, Dorinda was convinced of the presence of ghosts in her home. However, Dorinda isn't afraid of these spirits, as she believes that her own goodness will only attract positive spirits. She said, quote, "I think that if you are a good person, you'll have good spirits in your life. And I think that if you're a negative or a bad person, that just attracts negative spirits." She continued on saying, quote, "Because I've suffered loss, I believe that people don't go away and they just transform into different energy. So I definitely think there's all kinds of good energy, blessed energy in this house." In the hump of our list, we have Matthew McConaughey. While doing press for his movie Ghosts of Girlfriends Past in 2009, actor Matthew McConaughey shared a strange and unsettling experience he had at his Hollywood home.
And I'm not one to say I believe or don't believe in ghosts, but people kept coming. I would not tell them.
According to McConaughey, his house was haunted by a spirit named Madame Blow, and he had a sober encounter with her that left him feeling that she was not a happy presence and not someone he wanted to spend time with. Despite the unsettling nature of the encounter, McConaughey stood his ground and told Madame Blow that she was welcome to move around the house as much as she wanted, but he was not going to leave. For weeks, visitors to the house also reported seeing a presence in the hallway, adding to this eerie atmosphere. However, eventually the visits from Madame Blow stopped.
People fell in love with that room. Where for a while no one liked the room, and all of a sudden people love that room.
Number 4, Howie Mandel. Actor and television host Howie Mandel shared a truly terrifying story of a spirit that invaded his home and seemed to be targeting his family. The story began when the family's au pair, who woke up in the middle of the night to see a ghostly apparition resembling a bearded man sitting at the end of their bed. The au pair was understandably frightened and couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off in the house. Mandel's preschool-aged daughter, who was also at the house at the time, had a similarly unsettling experience when she visited her grandmother's house and saw a portrait of a bearded man that resembled the description of the ghostly figure given by the au pair. The similarities between the portrait and the description of the ghost were striking, and the little girl was left frightened and shaken by the experience. Mandel himself was unable to come up with any sort of explanation for the strange events that had happened in his home. Despite not being a believer in the paranormal beforehand, he found himself unable to think of any other explanation for what had happened. The experience was so frightening that Mandel made the decision to put his house on the market and completely move his family out immediately. Number 3, Vanessa Hudgens. Vanessa Hudgens, best known for her roles in High School Musical and Grease Live, recently made a shocking claim during her appearance on the Kelly Clarkson Show. The actress told host Kelly Clarkson that she has the ability to communicate with spirits and has had numerous encounters with spiritual beings. Hudgens described one such encounter from her childhood where a toy duck began moving on its own as she walked by it. In the show, Hudgens would specifically say, quote, "I remember getting ready for school when I was 8 years old, and there was this, you know, those duck toys that you pull the string. There was one of those things on the dining table, and I started walking and it just started going alongside me." The actress admitted that these experiences can be intimidating, but she has recently come to see them as a gift and has decided to embrace her abilities. And just for added measure, in order to facilitate her communication with spirits, Hudgens uses a device called a spirit box, which she claims helps her analyze radio frequencies quickly and allows spirits to speak through it. It's certainly a unique and intriguing talent, and it will be interesting to see if Hudgens chooses to explore it further in the future. And this isn't the first time she experienced something like this, as she did in 2011 when she told people that she would constantly encounter a ghost while filming Journey to the Mysterious Island in North Willington, North Carolina. Number 2, Courteney Cox. Actress Courteney Cox recently shared some spooky stories about her time living in a haunted house in the Royal Canyon neighborhood of Los Angeles. During an appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live, Cox revealed that the singer Carole King, who previously lived in the home, had warned her about a ghost that lived there. Despite this, Cox didn't believe in ghosts at the time and just brushed off the King's warning.
I really didn't believe in ghosts, but that scared me.
However, several friends who stayed at the house reported encountering a woman sitting on the edge of their bed.
And that many people had seen spirits and stuff in the house, and then just out of the blue, not...
These occurrences kept on happening, leading Cox to participate in a seance with King in an attempt to get to the bottom of things. It wasn't until a UPS delivery driver told Cox that someone standing behind her that she fully believed in the haunted nature of the house. She said that she couldn't sleep there alone after that and eventually sold the home.
And you're saying the ghost respected you when you said, listen, it's time for you to leave? The ghost said, okay, I'm out of here.
Number 1, Keanu Reeves.
John Wick?
Yes.
Keanu Reeves had an experience with a ghost as a child when he just flown to New York from Australia with his nanny. It was late at night and his sister was sleeping. The only person awake with him was his nanny, Renetta. A couple of hours went by when the two of them saw something unexplainable.
Mr. John Wick.
Reeves said, quote, I'm probably like 6-7 years old. We come from Australia. Renetta, our nanny, in the bedroom. My sister's asleep. She's sitting over there. I'm hanging out. There was a doorway. And all of a sudden, this jacket comes waving through the doorway. This empty jacket, there's no body, there's no legs. It's just there. And then it just disappears. When he was confused about what he saw at first, he was willing to pass it off as just another weird occurrence. He looked over at his nanny and noticed she was not as relaxed as he was. Reeves continued on saying, quote, I was a little kid and I thought, okay, that's interesting. And I looked over at the nanny and she was making a very scared expression. And I'm like, oh wow, so that was real. Well, these are the top 10 scary celebrity ghost stories that'll keep you up at night. What do you guys think about this list? Leave a comment down below with your thoughts and some suggestions for future videos. I'm your host, Andrew, and I hope you guys have a scary day.